Good morning. I think a lot of people are probably in the same boat I'm in, where I'm like, oh, there's a time change. The meeting starts now and not in an hour. I just dropped a note in the Discord chat. Maybe I'll give people a second.
It seems like there was two different meeting links.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So me and Ladislaus and Unawit were all in a different call.
Oh,
Yeah.
where'd the other link come? That's
It's
maybe
Google
Yeah.
Calendars where
the one you shared with the like the placeholder for the calendar instead of the official Google, the official Ethereum calendar. And apparently the Zoom link has changed.
Sorry about that.
Anyway, is O here already? I just ping him. No problem. I actually thought you were traveling with, so great to have you.
That's later today.
Nice.
And all node takers also went to the old link, I assume.
Okay, great. O is here.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not sure where the extra link came from. I'll track that down, get it tidied up. Great. Yeah, I thought my biggest curveball was going to be the daylight savings change, and I heard an alarm go off, and it was like, oh, I have an hour before a call, and then, oh no, actually I don't. I have 10 minutes. All right, so let's. I shared the issue link in the chat. Trying to be a little bit more diligent about summarizing what was done the week before, and I'll carry that over week after week so we can just keep building on it. But that's got a record of the client updates from last week. So let's go through. Maybe we'll just start with Zine.
Hello, everyone. I will let it was. Yeah, so we have been working so to integrate the aggregate signature changes. So that PR has been merged in Zeem. We were also working on doing a list spec PR to actually integrate the signature. That spec PR is out and is being reviewed, and hopefully in a day or two it will be merged. And maybe by next week we would have integrated signatures as well. So it would be then time for DevNet 1. But and in preparation of DevNet 1, we are also updating Lean Quick Start. So we have integrated #6 CLI that will generate the key pairs that will be allocated to different validators. So that has been integrated. And then there is another PR by Partha, which basically integrates Ansible as well as Kubernetes into it. So I think we will soon be ready for multi-machine deployments. And the way I think it would, and we would even leverage that to make sure that the signature generation also happens in a distributed manner through all these machines. Like you have 5 machines, you can use enroll both 5 machines to generate the signatures, and then basically accumulate the key pair through Ansible, and that is what Partha's PR will achieve over there. And so this will basically set stage to DevNet 1. And once all other client teams are ready, we can try to go for it. With regard to spec spec test, we don't think we have moved much on it, but I think this week we will try to push spec test a little bit, integration of spec test a little bit more. Yeah, I'll drop the PR links into the chat in a bit.
Great. Thanks very much. Hey, Silas, you got a question?
Yes, so I'm wondering how are you going to organize this interop script in terms of changing the specification? So is there going to be some tags in that script repository where we know which exact version of interop script matches to particular specification version?
Yeah, so I think we can create DevNet branches onto the script so that that confusion is sort of resolved. And yeah, but generally I think once we are through a DevNet, and these DevNet phases are so small and they are not so organized as of now, just because of the reason that they are small and fast moving. I mean, there isn't really need to have saying that this is a version that cares for DevNet 0, and this is a version that cares for DevNet 1, unless the clients which are trying to catch up, they would want that. And in that case, basically, we can consider that and have the branches. But as such, as of now, we don't see the requirement for it, because when a particular DevNet is over, so we quickly want to move to the next DevNet.
But for example, like right now, the trunk of trunk branch of integration script, what exact specification version does it match? Is it trying to match the trunk of specification, or what is the current? For example, what is the current status?
Right. So current status is that the script is compatible with DevNet 0. But we'll soon move to DevNet 1. I think the script, so additional step that has come to the script is that it generates the key pairs, and even DevNet 0 can use the same thing. It just ignores the key pairs that will be allocated to the nodes. But yes, going forward, we'll make sure that we generate a branch and tag it properly, so that if somebody is targeting a particular DevNet, then they go for it and sort of adopt a release process in which then we basically we release a whole DevNet and say that, a new DevNet release has been made, and this is what you're supposed to be using it, and the main trunk can continue with the further changes on top of it. So it might just be in flux, but yeah, it's a good idea to have released branches which people can basically pin to and use it.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, in the future, if you can try to make it more organized in terms of like matching particular specification version or so.
Yeah, sounds good. We will adopt the release process only in Quick Start from now on. So even DevNet 1 will have a release. So that way, yeah, it's a good idea. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Excellent. Thank you. Ream team.
Yeah. So for Ream, on the spec side, I think we reviewed most of the PRs on the lean spec already, and also submitted a few PRs which are already merged. Mostly are like small fixes or a few specific additional test cases. And on the implementation side, we merged a few PRs on HashSig, basically the signature integrations. We are working on integrating the attestations processing from the specs, also implementing signature integration. We are also updating our metrics to follow lean metrics, working with Katya on that. And Jun is also working on a minimum kurtosis package. I understand that we already discussed this last time, but I think we are still curious to actually try it out. We are not actually forking the Ethereum package. We are actually creating a new one from scratch. Obviously, like we are still behind in features in terms of like comparing to Seam's Lean Quick Start. But yeah, I guess like for now, I feel like each client can kind of like create their own and maintain their own tools. I think that will help like each other go at our own speed. But yeah, I think when we are ready to go with like Definite One, I think we can decide on the spot there which tool do we want to use. And I guess like one follow-up question on that is I'm not so sure, do we have any resources regarding like the resources for the hosted DevNet? If we have any infrastructure resources that we can use, or is it like the client teams figure out their own?
Could
Do you know?
you, if you could expand on what you need for resources, I could speak to DevOps or something, if that's gonna solve your issues.
I don't have any specifications in mind, but yeah, like AWS resources, something that we can run the DevNet with on the cloud. But yeah, in that case, then I guess like we can work between the client teams, and then we can propose something.
Yeah,
I
if
think
you go ahead.
I think it's easy to approach Pari or Barnabas and ask for some machines when we want to do a public DevNet.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I could go. I never know if it's best to go through PandaOps or through DevOps. So if it's just kind of simple virtual machines that you're looking for, I can go through DevOps and limit PandaOps involvement. I know they've probably got their hands full with Fusaka and other things. So yeah, if you could give me like a few bullets in terms of what resources you need, types of environment, specifications, I can speak to both of them and figure out the best fit. Sorry, did you have anything beyond that? Oh.
No. So I think the action item there is like we probably have to figure out like the resource requirements that we need, and then propose it to whoever has the resource.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. No, they're very responsive. Yeah, I think once we identify what's needed, yeah, I can get an issue opened and they execute on it pretty quickly. So just let me know what you need. Clean.
Okay, hey everyone. Yeah, first we made some fixes to libp2p that we're using. It turns out that we had some issue with Quick library, which caused some issues when we tried to simulate the network under shadow, like of size, for example, 500 nodes or 1000 nodes. Now it's fixed, so basically, yeah, we can spin up this size of the networks, at least with Clean for now, but yeah, in future, maybe with other clients as well. Which is good, so we can test kind of like and figure out performance requirements, like in terms of network bandwidth, latency, and so on. So yeah. Other than that, yeah, introducing changes required for the DevNet 1. Yeah, already testing the most recent changes for the signatures aggregation that yeah basically was introduced in 67th pull request to the spec, and also we finished with yeah bindings implementation for the HashSig. So yeah, we can also use that. Yeah, we implemented C bindings. So yeah, if other teams like Lantern need to use them, they can also do this. Yeah, I think that's mostly it. Oh yeah, other than that, it's not directly related to the DevNet, but yeah, in our Beam sim, we also introduced Soon, which was proposed by Thomas, I think, in Cambridge. So we checked, got some interesting results in terms like, it seems Soon Gossip Sub works when we have like high bandwidth, for example, 200 megabits, it actually performs twice faster than just a classic Gossip Sub. Yeah, still not as fast as grid topology, but yeah, definitely an improvement. When we have like lower bandwidth, the improvement is not that big, but still there is some improvement. Yeah, we'll run some more tests just to get some average results, and yeah, I might share later on that in the group. Yeah, I think that's all from my side. Thanks.
Thanks, Kamil. Partha had a question about, do we have a strategy for tagging each client version to match a DevNet release that would help address Solius's earlier point, especially in the lean quick start?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to sort of have release process clients wide, and when we are basically collating the information, spec information for a particular DevNet, there we can also sort of have a Docker tag or branch, or the version release mentioned over there.
Great. Lantern.
Yep, thanks, Will. Hi, everyone. So basically, since the last update, I've been trying to interop in DevNet 0. Basically have reached a point where it can receive messages from Ream, Clean, and Zeem, and basically it can process gossip messages, but when it has to run the state transition function, there's some pending issues there. So what I'm actually doing is I'm actually working on integrating the JSON test consensus vectors that were added by Thomas last week. So basically, if the client can process the test vectors correctly, then hopefully it should be able to process the messages and sync up in DevNet 0. And I guess like once that is working, I'll be happy to look into integrating the #6 C bindings that Camille's clean team implemented. Yep, and as well as the lean metrics as well. Yep, that's the update from my side.
Thanks, Mahir. So I guess just taking the pulse of all the client teams, we had identified, sort of in the abstract a few weeks ago, mid-November as being like a key date to try to ship DevNet 1. I don't know, maybe like just temperature check. Are we still feeling good about that? Is there a list of dependencies that need to get out of the way other than the DevNet environment? And maybe just help me better understand where we're at in terms of delivering that.
So I think we are quite near to delivering that because once our signature integration PR, spec PR is merged, which we can target by Friday. So then I think it's about just clients integrating it, and if they have already worked on the previous signature aggregation as a list PR, then this change should be incremental and smaller in terms of adding the signatures and validating them. So Zeem should be ready to go for interops. We will actually try to do Zeem to Zeem interop starting next week, and we can actually do multi-client interop maybe mid of next week as well.
Great. Yeah, let's just go around the horn. Reem, how do you feel?
I probably need to check with our team members as well, but my guess is single client implementation for Ream we could target for next week and maybe start doing some local interop testing. But to actually do it like multi-machine or do actually any useful benchmark out of it, I don't think that's feasible within next week from my gut feeling. So hopefully, like maybe we could get like like simple single machine interop next week, but running actual benchmark or multi machines probably going to be after Dev Connect, I would say.
Okay.
But maybe other team members might want to chime in.
So June confirms
Yeah.
that outline. Camille, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, in terms of kind of binary for clean for the DevNet one, I think we should be ready next week. Yeah, we basically have already testing new signature scheme and we have bindings ready. Shouldn't take long to kind of integrate all pieces together. Yeah, once we have spec, just to verify that yeah, we kind of have the proper version of everything. But yeah, then we can probably start also testing local interops next week. Just as usual, figure out if we introduced any kind of incompatibilities between the clients, all of that. So yeah, I suppose like binary and Docker, yeah, should be ready next week from our side.
Right. Mahir?
Yep. So basically we could achieve local interop testing next week. And if we could also release Docker images, and I guess if those issues, if those arise, are resolved, then we should be able to join DevNet 1. But yeah, that's
Great. So moving on, spec updates. Thomas, I saw another big post from you last night. I don't know, maybe if we could start off by just giving a TLDR on that.
Yeah, of course. Like in the last week, since we merged like the PR from Felipe about the test vectors, we have tried to add like as many new test vectors as possible. So what we did is that we deprecated a lot of old tests to make test vectors happen like everywhere, at least as many places as possible. And so we moved quite fast in the last week by merging more small peers rather than bigger peers that we had in the past. So this was a very good movement with a lot of reviews, a lot of people participating in the spec from the different teams, not just me or EF people, but a lot of different people participating in the spec, fixing some bugs, some small bugs, bigger one, and yeah, a very good movement of new test added and stuff. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the movement that we have right now with the spec. I hope that we will continue like that. As just mentioned, we have like a new PR that should be merged about signature aggregation, so that we should be complete on this part soon. And yeah, as I just mentioned, we have this this new stuff of opening very small issues to track some new problems and move forward on this. I think that right now we have a couple of open issues. Most of them are already assigned. So this is a very good sign of people wanting to participate in the spec. So yeah, very good movement. And I hope that this will continue like this in the future.
It's great. It's nice to hear like the shared ownership and interest in that. Any other spec related updates or discussion topics?
I think it is right time to start figuring out what are the P2P optimizations that we want to plan for it. So if there is any work that is out there with regard to that, it's time to sort of dig into it and also to share it as well.
Yeah, for peer-to-peer optimizations, there are multiple directions. First, like the gossip part, how do we actually propagate signature or sorry, stations? And another thing is once we got the aggregation, well, yeah, first we should figure out like how aggregation is gonna look like, whether it's like 128 kilobytes or something else. And then, yeah, how do we distribute them to everyone? Yeah, in Cambridge, we discussed that we might use Reg coding for that. Actually, Raul in today's P2P call later, I think in an hour or so, should discuss that, some updates that he was working on. Yeah. Yeah, we should just decide. I don't know whether we want to experiment with kind of advanced gossiping or honestly, I would start with this kind of aggregation propagation strategy, whether we use Reg coding or anything else. Oh yeah, I'll share you the link.
I was asking if there's any updates on ZK aggregation research and timeline. So to plan for DevNet 2 and onwards.
I can briefly like speak about this. So on the signature scheme, we are pretty okay, meaning that we have an implementation working. We still have work to do on the encoding scheme. I think that Benedict and Dimitri are thinking about this, even if this is probably like a long-term research stuff. But yeah, they are thinking about how to have like a proper encoding scheme to have something that is efficient, small, and friendly to ZK. Then on the aggregation side of things, meaning that once we have the scheme, how to aggregate signatures and be able to post a single proof on chain. This is still an ongoing area of research. Emil is working full time right now on the Lean VM. So doing some benchmark, doing some improvements. As mentioned by Will, this Friday, Emil will present some Lean VM benchmark stuff. If you are interested into that, like you also have like Lean multisig GitHub repo where you have a nice README with some benchmarks and the current numbers compared to what is expected. So you can just check that to see a bit more about the numbers. But TLDR is that right now Emil is working on the XMSS signature aggregation, not yet on the recursion part of the process, meaning recursively aggregate proof of previous signature aggregation. This is very tricky because this is a ZK VM topic, so involving a lot of math, a lot of code optimization, a lot of very low level tricks. This is like kind of a 10-person working group working on that. Some are full-time, others are part-time, others are external people, but this is a very complex topic. So I cannot really answer with a deadline. But all of that I can say is that we are doing our max to be able to reach the target numbers. But like with the current numbers that we have, with the work of Emil on the Lean VM, I guess that's at least, even if we don't have like the recursion, we still have a function that is able to prove some signatures. So this means no recursion, probably not a very performant one, and probably so we will not be able to aggregate like millions of signatures together, but at least we have like a starting point with some reasonable number, let us say.
Yeah, agreed with that. So basically, we can do the first layer of aggregation without the recursion, and maybe that. I think the performance is good enough to have a DevNet with a single layer of recursion, and hopefully early next year we will have the full recursion implemented.
Yeah, and if needed for you as a client teams, if you have like some question on like the future DevNet or some interrogation on how to do that, maybe Emil can also participate in one of these meetings that we have right now on Wednesday, to introduce you just what is the function that you should use, how to import the Lean VM library. Is there like a function that is suitable for you? Does it need some modification or some trait on the Lean VM side of things? So all of these technical questions about how to use Lean VM, yeah, maybe we can just invite Emil and let him speak about how to use his work.
Thanks very much for that update. Yeah, so it sounds like aggregation with no recursion is what we'll be working to implement before the end of the year, and then sometime early next year is when we'll be able to start to get a better sense of when recursion will fall into the fold. I mean, I think it sounds like there's also a lot of experimentation around the P2P layer, so there's plenty of opportunities for additional dev nets between aggregation and recursion, of just looking at the impact of different tweaks to the P2P, perhaps, while keeping aggregation consistent, and before adding in the additional layer of recursion potentially. And then I guess any other research related updates?
There's a bunch of progress that's being made in the background. A bunch of papers that are being written on XMSS, on Poseidon. There's also for Lean VM this direction of exploring open VM style modularity. So one of the big advantages that we have with Lean VM is that we can move extremely fast, because we don't actually have real world workloads, and it's a very small code base. So just last week we made a massive performance breakthrough incorporating something called GKR, and it's possible that we'll be making another breakthrough, both in terms of modularity and simplicity, but also performance with this open VM approach. So things are progressing very fast from a research standpoint. But again, like all of this should be a black box from the point of view of the devs who should just be calling the library and just having the aggregation be done by that library.
So before I forget, I really hope everyone shows up next week, because I think we're going to have some surprises and maybe a special little thing to share with you all, which will be fun. But I guess just so it doesn't get lost, if someone could provide me with the list of requirements, specifications, needed, from DevOps, FanOps, sooner than later, I can get the wheels moving on that, so that doesn't end up being a blocker for y'all. So if anyone can provide that to me, that would be great. Slightly off topic. Can anyone explain it to me like I'm 5 on how this works? I just saw it a few days ago. This is actually, I believe, the main topic of eCruise Call 6, which is this Friday at 2 p.m. UTC. So Ben and Angus will be there giving a presentation. I cannot explain that to you like I'm 5. I could, I would listen to one, but yeah, that will be one of the main topics. So there's going to be 4 different speakers talking about proximity price related topics, including that.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of research breakthroughs on that specific topic called proximity gaps, which is basically the foundations from an information theoretic standpoint of the hash-based snarks that we're working with. A lot of the industry is leaning on these open conjectures, and we probably don't want to be leaning on these conjectures for Ethereum layer 1, and so we're putting a lot of effort to try and close them off, and that's going to lift all boats. And we've made progress both on improving the attacks. So the conjecture has actually been shown to be at least slightly invalidated. And on the other side, we also have much better provable results, which will be shared. And arguably, both results are breakthrough results. And I guess it's part of the fact that it's such an important topic nowadays, because the whole industry seems to be moving in the direction of hash-based snarks. And yeah, a bunch of these ideas actually originated from Cambridge. So there's a little bit of latency, but the fruits of Cambridge are starting to bear.
Okay. Any other open topics that people would like to floor? If not, we can call it a call. All right.
Thank you, Will. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Talk to
you.
you soon. Take care.
Thank
all.
you, guys.
Thanks,
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Will. Bye.
Thank you.